And we are live. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen?
What's
It's
up?
Jason O'Neill, and we got
Hey,
Mr.
everybody. I'm Jerry Mills.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's webcast. We are super excited about doing this. Today is all about goals. It's all about um, getting to that place where you wanna go to in your life. You know. So, welcome to today's call, Jerry. It's exciting to have you, man.
Dude, man, it's always good to hang out and do this every Wednesday. We're here, 11 a.m. Central, 12 p.m. Eastern. Put it into your schedule. But Jason and I, we're just a couple of regular guys, and we've been working very hard the last couple of years. Really, we both have gone from zero is where we've started, and our goal is to be heroes in every aim of life. Not that we've gotten there, but that's what our goal is. That's our overarching goal for our lives is, how are we heroes to our families, to our friends, to those around us, and how do we work it in our business and so forth. And that's why we do what we do, and that's why we're going to talk, today about crushing goals. Because 2015, well, Jay, it's almost in the book, isn't it?
Man, we've had a fantastic year. It doesn't seem like all that long ago that I was sitting down and I remember looking at my text messages from Nicole and she said, "So, what do you want to accomplish next year?" So that was at the very end of 2014, and I put a series of things together and I sent it over to her, and she was so cool. So for Christmas last year, what she did was created a dream board for me. And
Dude,
you
I saw
remember,
that. That thing is awesome.
yeah, that dream board's amazing. So it's like it's in the office, at my home office, and I get to see it all the time. And it's fun to sometimes just go look at it and be like, wow, I've accomplished a lot of things that's on this dream board. And there's, what makes this such an awesome show is that we're not just all about celebrating our successes, but also admitting our failures and admitting that we're certainly just human beings and we make plenty of mistakes, and it's a journey, and that's what doing these types of things is all about. Is being able to sit back and reflect on what we've accomplished, and to re-identify whether or not there it is. Let's put that up. That's the dream board right there. Like let me. I think that it should be on your page. I'm not sure. But okay. So yeah, that's it. It's a little blurry, but that's my dream board right there. But it's all
I thought I
about
wanted to
being
show it.
able
I knew
to
I had a picture of it. I thought it was so cool.
thanks, man. I appreciate that. It's really been helpful because like it's cool to again look back and because sometimes isn't it so easy for us to get caught up in um the day-to-day grind of life, the day-to-day like pressures that we go through as business owners, as boyfriend in my case, and in your case as a husband, and as a father for you, and like all the other stuff, the financial aspect of everything. Like there's a lot of stress and pressure that's on us every day, and sometimes it feels like we're not making any progress towards the things that we want in life, right? Like
Yeah.
it's all we're in the mix. We're focused so heavily on like what's right in front of us, and we're so emotional about what's right in front of us. Sometimes we forget the journey that it took to get to that place, and sometimes success can even seem like it's more stressful than failures if you're not focused on like kind of like celebrating that type of stuff.
Right,
So
that's so true. That ability to handle success versus, they talk about, with sports teams or what have you. It's get over that first hump of winning a game or so forth. But can you maintain that championship level culture and drive for continuing results and goals? Absolutely, absolutely.
yeah, you think about that too, man. Because without revisiting goals, you don't know like if you've accomplished something, like was it everything that you thought it was going to be, or is it like well, all right, maybe that's not as important as I thought it was going to be. Like that, it allows you to kind of like when you do these goal setting workshops and stuff. Like we just did one for our company a couple weeks
Yeah.
ago, and it was really awesome because it allowed me to take some of like my old goals that I had set, in this little workshop workbook, and
Hmm.
kind of use some of these to like reanalyze, like, okay, oh wow, yeah, I remember putting that, I remember putting that. That's awesome. That's awesome. Like all these cool things, and that's still relevant. That's still something that I'd want to accomplish. But then there's some things that you're like, I don't really know if that's like all that cool anymore. Like, because where I was at that time in my life,
Right.
it's completely different than where I'm at
That's
now.
that's a really interesting point. That's really cool. Is that, but even in the point of making goals isn't that you have to like rigidly say, well, gosh darn it, I put these 10 things down, and even though I really don't want to do that anymore, at the time I did, I've got to do it. That we don't have to be robots, but
Yeah.
it's sort of like dreaming things up, right? Your dream board. I'm going to put all these things up, and dreams change, right? I mean, if we think back to the guys we were at like 21 years old, we're not going to have the same dream board now that we did then, and probably won't in 20 years from here. So,
Yep.
my brother, when he was a kid, he wanted to have an icy machine in his room. And then it became like, oh, I'm going to go to work and I'm having an icy machine in my office. I think it might still be his dream, actually. That one hasn't changed, and that's a pretty good one. But we can like dream things up and put goals in, but we don't have to like. It's more of like drawing that out, and there's going to be some that stick and that some that change, right?
Yep. What I've kind of realized through like when I am like performing at my higher levels to where I'm
Yeah.
not performing at a higher level, it's usually when I'm consciously aware of moving towards like something that I want, and I make it so compelling that like it's something that I want to accomplish, and like I'll get really motivated to do it. Sometimes the challenge is keeping up that level of energy towards achieving something,
Yeah. That's
which kind
slight
of
edge.
brings us into, some
Yeah.
of the goals that we've set for ourselves that we have
Yeah.
accomplished this year, and maybe, like some of the ones that we haven't accomplished this year. Like what's your
Totally.
top what's like one of some of the top goals that you set out for yourself last year that you accomplished?
Well, I'll run by just like two because like some of them kind of rub like business stuff kind of runs together, if we can
Yep.
talk about sales and what have you. But I wanted to make it a little bit more personal and everything. So I had, I've got different buckets in our life like we all do, and so there's business, family, friends, spiritual, playtime, hobbies, what have you. And so as you know, with me, one of my passions is acting and working at building that acting career here in Chicago. And then family with me and Alex. So with us, our goal was to bring Alex home from having to work. Um, like I was able to do as we built our drop shipping business, then I was able to really stay home and work on that. But it was really to earn enough income that she would be able to stay at home and work from home, and we were just able to achieve that as she's been working with Outsourced Lifestyle, and as our business continues to grow, and just in the last uh, couple months to be able to achieve that, which has been awesome. And it started as that dream, and then it was like, okay, so here's that dream and goal. Now, how do we? Then you have to figure out, okay, how does that work? But I think one of the things that you're talking about, which is really an important part, is if you dare to dream it, it's like your subconscious mind. Maybe some of the books talk about with Think and Grow Rich. Maybe it's spiritually, if you're really praying about it, engaging with God. Whatever somebody might believe with that out there. We think that if you're taking action towards that dream, it's amazing how you find a way,
Mhm.
to get there, and the tactics and strategies might change to get that, but it starts with that belief, that dream, that desire towards that goal. And the other one I'll talk about is with acting. I recognize from lack of booking jobs for commercials and TV because, as you can imagine, theater is great, but it doesn't really pay. money like TV and film and
Yeah.
commercials does. So, as you get older, at least for me, it's like, okay, I'm not like this artist. It's like I've got to create this thing and starve and everything. I'm like, hey, man, I want to get paid for this. Show me the money, baby. Show me the money. I got the quan. Um, so I recognized that I was having a lot more success auditioning for stage, for plays and musicals than I was having for TV, for commercial. So I hired a coach, but I said I have a goal is I want to book commercial. I want to get those auditions for like a Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, things like that. And but it's like when you're dealing with yourself as a product, which is what you are in acting, you are the product. It's like, do I really believe I have what it takes? Can I get to that next level? And I had enough faith to hire a coach, but I didn't really honestly think a lot about the end result because that would kind of paralyze me. It's like, I've got to land it. You can't really worry about that. You can only work on the craft of getting better, that 1% each day, so that you can go into these auditions more prepared. So I really worked all summer, and I had plenty of times where I would go and work with my coach, and she would give me feedback. And then you watch yourself on film, and man, that's embarrassing.
Is
To
that
see yourself.
uncomfortable right there?
Oh, dude, man, can you imagine, like when you hear the sound of your voice, when you look and watch yourself on camera? Nobody likes that, do they?
It
There
is
might
a
be a
little
few.
awkward.
Yeah, there might be a few narcissists out there, but I was willing to go through it because I had that goal in mind, and I was able to. I've booked a couple commercials out in smaller areas like Milwaukee, but I was able to land an audition, book a job, and do
Man,
my
that's
first
awesome.
commercial this fall. So it was. I felt like I was never going to get there, and so I guess I tie this together with people who are out there listening, and you're thinking about your business or whatever your goals are. We're going to talk about some of the ones that we haven't been able to accomplish soon, but that just dare enough to put it down, to put the goal down, and then work on figuring it out. And sometimes you have to just say don't focus on I'm so far from my goal, and just focus on what you can do today.
Yeah.
How about you, buddy? What do you think?
Man, well, first and foremost, congratulations on accomplishing those things. That's amazing.
Thank you.
You guys certainly deserve it. You've worked really, really hard, and onwards and upwards to an amazing 2016. For
Mhm.
me, um, I had quite a few things on that dream board, and a couple of them that I've been able to accomplish. Which I'm really proud of, is one of my goals last year was to really get our vision of what we're all about in front of at least 10,000 people, and we've far surpassed that number at this point. We've had a very successful year. Our programs worked amazingly for a lot of people who are having success, so that's made it all possible. And we've done really good on our advertising side of things. So like we've got the trifecta happening right there. We got good people that can help us with the advertising. We got a good product, and I luckily have a good promoter or pitch man, so to speak, in Joel, who's
Mhm.
been able to deliver the message and get our vision, get our message in front of a lot of people. I don't know the exact number at this point, but I know that we're over 20,000 registrants for
Sweet.
our workshop,
That's
and
awesome.
that's something that I'm super super proud of that we accomplished that. Next year, I definitely just moving forward. I know that I'd want to maybe be more out in the forefront of some of the speaking engagements as well. I know one thing that's a big thing for me is to become a better storyteller moving forward, because I want to essentially be able to start speaking in front of audiences and get invited to speak in front of audiences about the way that we operate and our vision, because what I've found is every goal is accomplished 1% at a time. That's the one thing that I would say has resonated with me more than anything, has been the 1% rule. And I've recognized it going in both directions, not just in like the things that I have accomplished, but also the things that I haven't accomplished, because you know, um, in certain areas I haven't quite got to where I want to be. You and I were talking before we got on here, but like in my in my in my physical like well-being, the my weight, not that I'm overweight or anything, but like I'm not where I want to be, like, and like I've realized that in that journey, that's something that I put down, and I've been kind of like, I get really close, and then I take my eye off the prize a little bit. It's that conscious thought that's going on behind the scenes, to where sometimes I'm conscious, if I'm not consciously thinking about like, why do I want to, be fit, to get the energy to be more influential, to become, more confident in myself, to be able to deliver my message better. If I stop thinking about all those reasons to like go do the exercise and to, put the good healthy foods in my body, that I'll tend to kind of drift a little bit back into the middle, to where it's like, I know that I eat pretty healthy most of the time, but sometimes I have like completely crappy food, and like if I do that for too long, right, then it literally, it's the 1% rule going in the other direction, at this
Right.
point.
It's that
Like
slight edge.
if I
Yeah.
string 4 or 5 days of that together and I'm not exercising, it's like I just lost 4 or 5 days that I put into it prior, that I was getting it moving in the right direction. So it's like kind of getting the momentum in that direction and keeping it at a high. That way,
Yeah.
whenever I hit kind of a little bit of a lull, I was so rock solid on that high that I accomplished so much that now I'm just even, like way closer to the goal than I was. That way, when I get back on the horse and I start riding again, I can get there. Because I like, goals aren't these things that are like, oh, it's a straight line. Like goals literally, like we have life that pops up every single day.
Right.
And one thing, like all the personal development books out there, they talk about goals, but like they don't talk about like the reality of like everyday life, and they don't talk about like the stuff that does get in the way. And we have to develop the skill to be able to pick ourselves up and get back on the horse to ride again, rather than like rather than it being this thing that um, oh, I didn't achieve that goal. Crap. That's, goal setting stupid. Like we don't, if we're not consciously like thinking about this stuff, I guess is where I'm going with that. Like when I'm not consciously aware of what my goals actually are, like it's one thing to write them down, but it's another thing to like make that attempt to really become one with what you really truly do want. Because when it's compelling enough, you'll want to move forward. You'll want to work that extra hour. You'll want to stay up the, like if you're working in like a business and on the side, you'll want to do those things that's needed to get the ball moving so you can leave that job.
Yeah.
Like it's always in that extra time.
Well, yeah, and I think what you're saying is it's a great point. Is that if we're just making these conscious goals, but we have subconscious desires that oppose them, then we sabotage ourselves, right? And we might move forward and do good one day, but then the next day not, because we have some sort of competing goal, and the subconscious always wins until we can get to that really, like what I'm hearing you say is like really until we drill down deep to what our core why is, and then it's burning enough, and that we're not really gonna experience true change. We're just gonna kind of like good days and bad days.
Yep. Yep. And if you got one good day, one bad day, one good day, one bad day, then it feels like you never make any progress. Like
Yeah, maybe you will quit
sometimes
on it.
it's like, damn, I've worked out all that stuff and then I took a month off, and it's like, now look at me. It's like all those hard days that I put into it. It's like, now look. And now I got to go do it again, right? Because like the
Hmm.
competing, stories that are going on, like when I'm on, I'm on. When I'm not on, it's like one of those things where it's like I gotta be able to like continuously grow as a person myself, because like I'm completely flawed human. And as much as I accomplish in my professional life, there's other areas of my life that I need to be able to, really really step my game up, and that's
Yeah.
like really making the why stronger. And I know moving into 2016, like I've already started. I'm 3 days in. Like it's embarrassing to say 3 days because everybody's always like, "Oh, I just started," but it's like I'm 3 days in, and I've been doing my morning rituals again every single morning. That's another thing that I like to do is get up. I like to take a walk in the morning. I've been meditating for 5 minutes. Just like it's hard to meditate. Have you ever meditated?
Well, I would
It's
do,
really challenging.
yeah, or just to be silent, meditation, meditative prayer of some sort.
Boy,
It's hard to be still,
there's
isn't it?
well, just I mean the thoughts that come in your mind, like you're trying to focus on your breathing, right? And it's like you hear a noise, and it's like it's crazy how much more I'm aware of like the noises that are going on around me.
Right?
It's like in every single thought, like you have to just let thoughts come in and out of your head, and like kind of like be like water, as Bruce Lee said, like be like water, let your mind be like water,
It
and
makes me think
meditating
of
is cool.
that makes me think of you can go into those sensory deprivation chambers. You can go like do that. I hear it's like terrible, like to try and be in one of those sensory deprivation chambers because you can't like hear anything really or even feel anything. It's like all dark.
That'd be really odd to like go do that.
Right?
Just imagine you're like, I can't hear, see, I can't feel anything. Am I alive? Like
Yeah,
you
that's
have
dude.
nothing that would indicate that you're alive, other than your thoughts.
Right in the darkness of space, no one can hear you scream. You know.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Uh,
I know moving into 2016, like doing that workshop a couple days ago was just so
yeah,
invigorating. Like that workshop was just like again like sitting down and getting completely clear on why I wanna do things, and it's energizing again. It's energizing to look forward. I know like a lot of my goals revolve around when I look at my old goals, a lot of the goals were self-centered goals, and now the goals have turned into like, I've got people who work for me. I want to be able to provide for their families, and build something that's meaningful in the world, and leave a lasting impact. So like for me,
yeah,
my health is attached to that, because like the more healthy I am, the more energy I have, and the more energy I have, the more I can study, the more I can deliver messages. I can get better at the storytelling side. I can do the studying that it takes to get good at that type of stuff. And the better that I get at presenting, the better that I get at like doing these things, the more people that I can impact, the new lives that I can get in front of, and the more people that I can impact. Now I can hire people to help out and help them accomplish the things that they want to get out of their life. So it's kind of like a circle, and it all starts obviously in the inner world, but like that affects the outer world, what's going on in the inner world. So
from the inner circle to the outer circle.
that is the inner of all inner circles, like your own thoughts going on. So like the morning rituals really help for me. It helps me take these goals that we set, the new goals that we set, and it helps me
Yeah,
focus on these things and like get reacclimated to them. Repetition, right? Like as Tony Robbins likes to talk about, is repetition. Like you got to keep repeating this stuff, because if we don't, then those subconscious thoughts, all those things that were pulling us in the other direction, they'll creep back up. You ever have that feeling where it's like you're really on? You're like, I am on right now. I am getting fit.
Max
Like
one.
I'm crushing my workouts. I'm eating healthy.
Yeah,
And then you have like some beer or something, and the next day you're like, I'm a little hungover. I'm just gonna get a pizza because I don't feel like cooking. And it's like, oh
yeah,
crap, we're back. We're back to the other way. It just happens just like that.
yeah. It's like, or when, if you haven't been working out in a while, and then you want to get started again, it's like I recognize it even like when I was in college. It's like an object in motion tends to stay in motion. It's like I think Ramit Sethi, in terms of like working out, I've heard him talk about, that he hasn't missed a workout in like 3 years because it's in his schedule,
Yep.
and he
It's
packs
in his
his
blood.
bag and it's by the door. And so all the ways we can self-sabotage yourself, it's like you don't want to be using your conscious mind. It's
Yeah.
like it's already taken care of. This is just what I do. What
Yeah.
I do is this,
Yeah.
and I work out on Tuesday and Thursday mornings at this time, and my bag's there, and it's become a routine of success, or a success habit, so that he doesn't have that danger of sabotaging himself. And dude, I think that the food thing is like one of the hardest things, because yes, I mean, you and I talked about this. That was definitely one of my goals this year that I totally have failed on. I mean, I've started CrossFit and all these things, but as they say, you can't out-train a diet.
Yeah.
That it's really 90% diet, and it's just like, even last night, we were like, oh, what's there to eat? There wasn't really anything to eat, so then I end up like, what's here that I want to eat,
Yeah.
Well, instead of having something packaged ready to go, or some people make things in bulk. It's crazy. I did really good like Monday through half of Tuesday, and then I think I'll get like a screwdriver because I like putting stuff together as we're moving into the house, and I'm going out, right? I'm checking out at Family Dollar because, hey, we all want to save money. I was like, I'm paying $2 for this screwdriver. And I also scanned a couple things to see if I could flip it on Amazon. I think I did find one thing, which is nice.
Nice.
But I'm going out, right? What's there? Bag of Cheetos. Right before
Oh
I go check
no.
out.
Oh
Boom.
no.
I made a
Oh no.
slightly bad, the slight edge, the 1% bad, decision. But I mean, I just say that to be honest, and that's the truth, and the challenge. But I also say that, having the big enough why hasn't been enough, and honestly, since having a first child, a new baby, a newborn, just a couple months old, I seriously have all these moments thinking about I've got to get my health in the best shape. Number one, I'm going to be chasing a little rugrat around in just a few months. This is the easy time right now when they just kind of
Yeah.
sleep and don't move.
Yeah.
And secondly, it's like I don't want to be this sort of tired, low energy, out of shape dad. I want to be on the ball like we're talking about here. So I feel like my why has changed, and now it's more important. And I think that for everybody out there listening, that's one of the things we're talking about is what's your main why for each of these? What are your goals as you think about writing these down? But what's that why? And that's what I'm hearing Jason say. That's what we're talking about, because that's what's going to propel you and drive you to want to either
Yeah.
achieve it, or you're going to find out, what, I've been working towards this, and then I realize this isn't really what I want, and then I find a better goal, a better dream.
Yeah, yeah, Tony Robbins breaks it down into a couple things. He breaks it down into your personal development goals, breaks it down into your things goals. Personal development's like, like getting in better influences or better spheres of influence,
Being
you
a better
know,
you.
become more charismatic, be a better storyteller, like that. I think of that as the personal development goals, like get in better shape, like read
Yeah.
more books, that type stuff. Like how many books do you want to read in the next 12 months? 10 books? Is that, have you ever read 10 books in a year? Some people say I want to read a book a day. They've never read a book in like a year. So it's like, start with something that's gonna feel real for you, and like
Get a
maybe.
subscription to audible.com and listen to them while you drive
Yeah,
back and
yeah,
forth. You can get through
yeah.
so many,
Reading's just
so many
important.
books that way. That's helped
Reading's
me.
so important. That's one of the most important things that anybody can do. I've said this before, that reading is honestly probably one of the most profitable activities that you could ever do in your life. Even though it feels like you're not doing anything other than reading, but
Yeah.
it's like you're not doing anything like physically. You're just you're getting that knowledge, you're getting that
Right.
fuel, you're getting the skill set, the understanding of how everything works in order to go execute on those things that are going to help you make money, right? Like everything comes from books. And like I haven't read nearly as many as like some people do, but like I've read enough that have made a big difference on my life. I try to take something out of the book instead of be like, I need to read a million books. I just try to read good ones that can, like in other areas, like now I know I have to read more books on storytelling and put myself
Mhm.
into those environments to be able to, learn how to tell stories, in a better way, because we're writing our book right now, and part of that is my ability to deliver stories for the chapters, because if the chapters suck, then nobody's gonna run and read the book, right? It's like, I read the first chapter and it was really boring. I was like snoozing out. Like, I mean, that's not gonna be awesome. So it's like I gotta become really good at telling stories right now. So my why is becoming, so when people buy the book, that they're not throwing freaking tomatoes at me as I'm up on stage. You suck. Stop talking. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
mean, so like you got your personal development goals, then you have your things goals, those things that you want. Like I know that I put on mine to have a new truck on my dream board this year, and I was able to accomplish that. I didn't get a truck, I got an SUV. I got a Nissan Pathfinder Platinum, and it's a beautiful car, and I love it.
Hmm.
So that was one of my things goals. One of my things goals moving forward is to get a boat. I want to have a boat. You want to know why I want to have a boat? Because I want to be able to have people come hang out with me in Jacksonville here and have something awesome that I can bring them out for entertainment on. And a boat is like
Deal.
awesome. Like boat's amazing. Then we have our economic and financial goals. Obviously, to have the things, guess what we need? We need a little bit of coin to be able to do that, right? So my when I wrote this down, it says my to have a $20,000 salary by the end of 2014. So I know by the end of 2014 I wasn't able to accomplish but I have way outdone that in 2015.
Hmm.
So we've built $2 million businesses this year. So it's been a really really exciting year from the economic standpoint, and that's all because we got our message out to enough people, and people are having results and getting success. So
Yeah.
it all ties in. The goals kind of tie into to each other. So
Hmm.
I'm trying to tie the weight loss and stuff into like making it really really compelling, because I want to be a good role model for people. I really want to be a role model for them to see maybe this very first message and saying like, okay, like, that's where he was, and here's where he is now. Like, it's cool to be able to document this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yep. Absolutely, man. Yeah. It's finding that why that gets us there, and I think that also when people are listening, they might be saying, okay, well, I have to do this or else, and we want to be careful too of that all or nothing thinking. So we've talked about on the flip side, that having that deep desire of why, and that you can change your goals up there, but you need to see that it is still that 1% a day. It's still that 1% a day that you get to that dream goal, or the things like Jay talked about, having that goal in 2014, or with Alex and I, they seemed impossible in some ways, but you have to have enough courage to believe, to put it down, and enough reality to say, like, we're not going to be putting something down like I'm going to be an astronaut, or something crazy. So it has to have some sort of, it has to be doable, real. Like, we used to watch American Idol, and they'd come in to a singing competition, and remember the first episode, people couldn't sing. A lot of them, they couldn't sing a lick. They had no sense of pitch, and they're like, I'm great. Well, they had a goal, but they had delusion too. So you need to have a goal that's reasonable, first of all, and then you have to have the courage to start taking that 1% action towards it, and that deep enough why to get there. I had certain goals that, some are more important than others. I think about, like, I was always going to, like, do snowboarding. Have you ever gone snowboarding, Jay?
I've been skiing once.
Yeah, I know you're
Went
down
skiing
in down in
like
Florida, so it's not a
16
big
years
thing.
ago. Yeah.
Well, I was always going to do snowboarding because I knew some people who did it. And then when I first got my chance to do it, I was in my late 20s. So it sounded like a really good idea when I was 21. And then by the time I had the opportunity, I went and I said, "No, I don't think so. I don't think that would be a wise decision." So actually it was us, about four of us, and then I went out skiing with the other two, and this guy, he said, "I'm going to try it." He'd never tried it before. So he goes to do the snowboarding, and I said, it would be a bad decision, I think. I could do it. I had a goal of doing it, but if I were to do it, I think bad things would happen. So we went out skiing, and we came back, and the ski patrol was waiting for us because he went out, did the snowboard, went over a jump, landed, broke his collarbone.
Oh.
And so we had to go to the emergency room and everything. And I just use that as a silly example to say that it's like, as you make these goals out and you think, it doesn't have to be something where it's like, I have to get all these goals. I have to do this, Some are going to fall by the wayside, and you might decide to change course here or there. But put them down. Put your dream board together, Do what Jay's talking about. Write them down. And then, take some action towards these goals, and then, keep reviewing them. I think about there's some programs out there I might want to look into, where you can you put your goals down, and there's like a whole community there. Have you seen this? And it's like a challenge, and you're like sort of challenging each other to achieve these goals, and you're accountable, because you've put it out there so that others are there, and you're in a community to kind of achieve this goal. So you may want to look at something like that.
It really helps with communities. Like you think about like even like I know Beachbody has like P90X and all those workout programs, and they have like an amazing community, and they have like always these new 90-day challenges that are starting, and like it really is helpful for some people to be a part of that, to be accountable to other people, because like if we only rely on ourselves, sometimes like it's not enough, I guess. Accountability is someone that's going to hold you to your word. I mean, that's one of those things. Les Brown talks about it, and it strikes home as I listen to him sometimes, and he talks about becoming accountable, like sticking to like doing the things that you say you're gonna do. Like you think about it. How many of us just like get completely drove crazy from people who are always saying that they're going to do stuff and never go do it, right? Like it's nuts, and we all do it. I know sometimes I start things, and even sometimes community's not enough to hold me to it. If I'm not like literally focusing on like really reminding myself every day like what's important, if I'm not getting into that state of like gratitude and wanting to accomplish that stuff and making it compelling, like it's a tough road. So like it's not just writing your goals down. Writing your goals down is like one of the big parts, because like the goals, like they if you don't write them down, then how are you ever going to get there, right? Like you think about like Donald Trump, right? Like, what's that? The Trump Tower in Chicago. That's a beautiful, beautiful building, right? It's a completely amazing building. Do you remember what was there before that building was?
No.
No, I'm sure something was there. Maybe it was land, or maybe it was another building. But Chicago is like pretty built out, so there was probably another building that was there when he bought that plot, right? And he says, "I'm going to build the tallest skyscraper in Chicago." Or is it the tallest, or is it one of the tallest? It's like maybe the tallest hotel.
Sears Tower.
Yeah. So I remember like he wanted to get it to where like it would be the tallest, but so what he did, he got the long antenna at the very top. That's what he did, right? So he got the really long antenna to break the record. But like, when he was building that out, he started with a dream, right? He started with the vision of building that building, and I think he got the architecture from the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, which I got lucky enough to see that. One of my goals is to travel the world and see more places, and I got to see Dubai. So I got to see the original version of that, but like it starts with him buying the land, right? Like when there's another completely different building on there, he has to knock down, get renovated, have like moving companies move all the cinder block, move everything that was demolished into like a completely blank canvas so they can start construction on the new building. And that's the 1%, right? Like the 1% is 1 floor at a time. So when you think about the story of our life, as I'm actually like writing this book, I'm thinking of all these chapters in the book as stories of my life. You know, each story is a different chapter. You know, and like we never truly get to finish the skyscraper. You know, I'm sure Trump would build it into the stratosphere if he could. You know, he would probably build it into space if like there would be like no FAA regulations saying that you can build this building taller than like you could build it all the way to the space station. That's cool, no big deal, right? Like if he was able to do that, he probably would. Like you never get
But
to
it
a
would be
point.
very classy, but in a classy
It
way.
would be very classy,
Very
very
classy,
classy.
huge, huge and classy. Lots of
Huge
marble.
and classy. Yeah, yeah. So like he's competitive like that, right? So he would probably never stop actually building it if he didn't have to, right? He would just keep building on top of it. So like that's how our life is, you know? And you know, as we look back at some of our old stories, you know, our old goals that we've, you know, accomplished, the ones that we didn't accomplish, and we start, you know, analyzing why we didn't accomplish them. Was it something that I did? Was it a goal that's just not in line with who I am as a person? Was it something that I thought I wanted? You know, like that's the type of stuff that we can start thinking about as we're reviewing our old goals. You know, like I know that there's stuff on here that is not it's not as important as it was. You know, like I put to learn 5 languages, and like that's something that like I've not really given a whole lot of thought to, you know, this whole time. So I'm like, do I really want to learn 5 languages, or maybe do I just want to learn one? You know, okay, I wouldn't mind learning Spanish, you know, or something like
Let
that.
me
But
start with one, see how it goes.
yeah, let me start with one. See how it goes. But like learn public speaking skills. That one's still important to me, and that's something that I've practiced over the last couple years. I haven't gone to Toastmasters events. I probably should go to some of those, but you know, we do it every day. We just do it
Right.
every day. So yeah, the whole thing is like at least writing them down. You know what I mean? Like it's at least writing them down, getting clear on them, and not just writing them down. Is then like creating a vision inside of your head. Like when Donald Trump bought that land, he had a vision for what he wanted to put there. You know, there was something there. He had the vision for the surrounding area. He had the vision, and without that vision, you know, you can't ever get to where you want to go. Right? It's impossible to build anything in life. You know, and you know, mostly what we teach people is how to build business, you know, and business is like one of the most important parts of having a well-rounded life, because if you don't have money, then you can't do a lot of the things. And sure, like the best things in life are free, but some of those things that you want, you can't have them if you don't go out there and earn them, and you earn enough money to make it happen. And you know, like what are those things that you want? You know, why do you want them? Is it gonna be something that you can entertain more people? The more that you can like involve, I know like with me, the more that I can involve other people into my goals, the more that I want to achieve them. Because I know that it's not just for me anymore, it's for other people. It's for the people who work for me, it's for their families, and it's for, you know, the audience who's going to be discovering our show moving forward, to be able to help whoever vibes with us, help them get their life in the right order, you know, through being imperfect. That's it, you know, just through being imperfect.
Yeah, I think that's the opportunity that we're talking about. What you have out there is if it matters to you, you have to be able to measure it. You know, and if you measure it, it matters. So how are you going to measure these areas of your life, whatever the most three? You know, start with what's your big three. You know, get it there. You know, just get going. When can you take 15 minutes? Put it in your calendar right now. Schedule 15 minutes just to stop and get some pen and paper and just think about it. Maybe put those categories that Jay talked about. You know, and put it there, or whatever, you know, is going to be matter to you. But that's the opportunity we're talking about, and we want to run with you too. Put it in the comments here. Message us. Let us know. Here's my big three. You know, here's my big five. You know, here's those buckets that Jay talked about. Here's what my goal is. So we would love to help you and be your running partner, be your goal lifting partner, because that's what we're all trying to do is spur each other on to have better success. But to be that hero in these areas of your life, it starts with that. Put it out there. Put it out there. Hold yourself accountable. Get a lifting partner for that. Tweak along the way. Measure how we're doing. Make changes as needed. And that way 2016 is going to be the best year of your life. And that's what Jay's goal is, that's what my goal is, and that's what we want for you, is that this upcoming year is the best year of your life. So take these last couple weeks and get it in gear. Don't wait till January 1st, right?
Just do it now.
We're talking about it before January 1st. Everybody's going to talk about goals like the first week in January, and so forth. You know what? Screw that. We're better than that. We're talking about it now. Get on the ball. Get ahead of the curve.
That's it. And how do we measure? We measure because we know that what we want, and we measure by being conscious about what we want in our life, and like I think one of the challenges that a lot of people have, I know like personally inside, that sometimes like doing a goal setting workshop can feel a little bit like it's going to be a stressful thing. It's like, what if I don't know what I want out of life? What if I don't know? And that's like a key thing for you to identify. If like you're having that conversation right now, it's like, oh, this is scary because I don't know what I want, and I'm scared that like if I find out what I want, it's not going to be awesome. So I'd rather just kind of like not know what I really want, and then just kind of hope that things are going to happen for me. It's like if you identify yourself like not like being crystal clear with what you want, and then it's an opportunity for you to start somewhere. This is the 1%. This is the foundation. This is like you finding that that spot for the Trump Tower and building your own skyscraper, of your life. You gotta at least get something. It doesn't matter how big it is. It's something, and it's your story. It's your life. And then start building your life around that ultimate. Like, what is your ultimate life goal? What is the ultimate thing that you want more than anything? When you're sitting down, when you're 90 years old and you're on your rocking chair and you're reflecting back on your life, what is the legacy that you want to leave behind in this world? What's the legacy that you want to leave behind for your children, for your family, for the people who come in contact with you? How do you want them to feel about your impact on their life? How do you want to feel about the impact that you've had on other people's lives? Like, how do you want to internally feel about that? And you just start with hey, I just want to be able to make some new friends, whatever. Like, I need to get into better circles of people that will uplift me and bring me to where I want to be, instead of hanging out with the old losers that talk down to me and just make me feel like crap, and they're not doing anything uplifting. And anytime I bring them something that I'm excited about, they just kind of meet it with resistance. Like you want to get around some positive people. Like like setting goals can be in a whole lot of different areas of your life, and the way that you measure that is by focus on that and getting clear. And if you don't know what you want, you gotta like at least get to that place first and foremost, because you can't do anything until you get something down. It's impossible. Like like how many times have we all said something one time in our life to where 10 minutes later we completely forget what we were talking about? Like, happens to me all the time, all the damn time. So if I don't write stuff down, then there's a high likelihood that moment of time is a fleeting moment that I'll never be able to recapture ever again. Like, period.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I thought that was a goal. I thought I wanted to get that done, but I can't even remember what it was that I wanted to get done anymore. So like, if you can't write it down, how are you going to be able to revisit it? And if you can't revisit it, then it's probably not really a goal, because you don't know what you want still. And then it's like, what do you want? I don't know. Well, that's how you fix that right there.
Yeah.
Right. That's been a big difference maker for my life. Just that very first ever goal setting workshop that I did with Tony Robbins, which is right here again. That very first ever goal setting workshop really was one of the catalysts towards making 2015 just an amazingly awesome year for me, and for my business, for my home life, for everything. It's been a fantastic year. Sure, I haven't accomplished everything, but I'm excited about the future, man. I'm excited to
Yeah.
have some time off for holidays. By the way, you are you working too much right now? Should you be just relaxing a little bit, sitting down, focusing on them goals, getting down and enjoying the holiday season? Saying I got it. I got it.
Yeah, man, it's been an awesome year, hasn't it? And it's true. Everybody out there, we want to enjoy the holiday season, so have some fun with it. That we're saying it's like it shouldn't be a stressful thing. It's all about just kind of saying, hey, what's possible? What's possible for this next year in these areas? So that's what we want for you. Put it down. We're just going to close things up here today and say so. Take that time and do some dreaming.
That's it.
I really want to. You know, maybe I'll hire Nicole to put a dream board together for me too. I think about I want a dream board, but then I don't really do arts and crafts very well. But maybe there's an online dream board, or if not, maybe I'll make it and
It
sell
was
that
pretty cool. She
product.
got a bunch of
You know,
magazines. They got a bunch of
yeah,
magazines and just
yeah,
cut
it's
out
not gonna.
pictures from those magazines. So
I know. I know that sounds like arts and crafts. I can. I'll get some macaroni and some string, make a necklace. But
fun.
anyway, I hope you loved our show today. We're gonna wrap things up here, and Jay, you can tell them where they can find show notes and so forth.
So yeah. We've
You can go to the
this is episode
blog.
number 5. So below this video, we will make sure to put a link that you can register for our future upcoming episodes. We're also in the process right now of creating a podcast. You can always get up to date and current with us at outsourcedlifestyle.com. So you go there, you can see our recent blog posts. You can see what we have going on. We're active there. We're posting new stuff all the time that's relevant, that's going on in the marketplace, trying to provide value to the world. So get caught up with us at outsourcedlifestyle.com. From there, you could register to be on our subscriber list and get notifications for our future and upcoming episodes for this and for our podcast that we have coming soon in the very beginning of 2016. So that's exciting. That's one of our goals. Get that up. So you guys get to finish out with that. So yeah, thanks for joining us this week, man. It's been awesome, Jerry. It's been awesome. I'm excited about 2016 and working with you, man.
Yeah, buddy. We're gonna enjoy the rest of 2015, but we're gonna take it easy on the pie.
Yeah, that's right. Signing off. See you guys. Have a good day.
All right, guys. See you later.